Hi everyone and welcome to this video about the Kokazumi team. I've made a video about this team once before, but I've made some important improvements to it since then. So how does this team work? Kokomi will apply hydro to the enemies from off-field thanks to a jellyfish, and Kazuha can deal pyro damage thanks to Bennett. Having a C6 Bennett can help, especially if you have a C1 Kazuha, but it's definitely not needed, because Bennett will apply pyro to the character itself, which will be the source of Kazuha's pyro absorption. This will lead to big vaporize damage from Kazuha. The new thing I've added to this team is Fischl. This is because, through the electro-charge reaction, enemies can actually have both hydro and electro on them, which means that Kazuha can actually swirl both the electro and the hydro, as well as doing the vaporize reaction. However, that's just in theory. In reality, it's very hard to know what reactions will trigger, because this depends on many different factors, like what enemies you're fighting and what enemy's Oz is attacking. Sometimes Kazuha will cause the overload reaction instead of vaporize, but it's still very strong. And in some instances I've even seen him cause overload and vaporize at the same time, which is very beautiful. This is similar to the Sukokomon team, which I can leave a link to in the description if you want to know how that works, where you use sucrose instead of Kazuha. But that team is also a lot harder to pull off. Because I don't have a C6 Fischl, I think it's more beneficial to buff Kazuha, so therefore she's running Millilith and Elogy of the End, instead of Stringless. Kokomi is using the Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayers to buff Kazuha, so it's important that you switch to Kazuha before going into Bennett, so that he can get the buff. And as you can see, my Kazuha is pretty OP. You obviously don't need Freedom Sworn though, and as you'll see in this clip, it was actually better to use Sacreficial Sword. And Sacreficial Sword is also very good because it can mimic the C1 constellation without you actually having it. This team has a lot of AoE damage, however, the single target isn't as good as other meta teams. But I think that can be compensated for if you run more crit rate and crit damage on Kazuha instead of focusing entirely on elemental mastery like I did. The worst thing about this team is that it uses both Bennett and Kazuha in the same team, because it can be pretty hard to then get a second Abyss team, since they're two of the most powerful support characters in the game. And if you want to see the stats after all the buffs, here they are. Thank you very much for watching the video to the end. Leave a like and subscribe if you want more. Bye!